Well, Prime Minister Mark Carney is committing to spending billions more on defense in the coming years. CP24's Andrew Brennan is live with the latest on the NATO meeting in Brussels. But the Prime Minister hasn't really indicated how the country is going to pay for it and if he's going to raise taxes.
Yes, Jamie. The reason the Prime Minister's giving for that is because this is a future problem of ours. We don't necessarily have to meet these new spending targets until 2035. There's no benchmarks for every year that each country has to increase their spending by. So ultimately, it's about getting to the end goal, and how each country in the NATO alliance gets there is up to them. So for us, he did say ultimately that we will have to have some conversations by the end of the decade about whether we're going to be cutting services, what services could be cut, or if there's going to be revenue changes, increases in revenue that can offset this billions in added spending that we have to, as a country, ultimately come up with. But like I said, this is a future problem, and the Prime Minister says the geopolitical problems now warrant this increase in defense spending.
The fact that we are doing this today, the fact that we're united, the fact that the United States is fully behind this, the fact that we're working together is going to reduce the threat environment 10 years from now. Certainly, I mean, now, we'll never be able to precisely answer that, what it would have been versus what it is there, but the deterrence element of NATO has just gone up substantially, and it's crucial. And we would really feel it if we went in the other direction.
And while we're not able to precisely answer now how we'll pay for the estimated $150 billion that 5% GDP or even 3.5% hard core defense spending in terms of GDP would be. But the other added problem we have right now is where you buy the defense hardware and the like from around the world, because most of it comes from the United States. And you may recall that there happens to be some tariff troubles between our two nations. So when we speak to defense experts about what's going to be paid for, how, when, etc., there's also a thinking of the military-industrial complex and the fact that America does own quite a bit of it. Take a listen to this.
The other 1.5% we need to add over and above the amount that the Carney government's already committed to take Canada to this fiscal year, which would get us to 2%. The other 1.5 percentage points to get us to that core 3.5% in total. That money is going to be significant. That's not in the fiscal framework right now. I think it's probably going to be about a net $50–60 billion over and above prior commitments, which is certainly a lot of money. And right now it would all have to be borrowed.
Now, Jamie, let's all recall about 10 years ago when NATO was increasing its defense spending pledges. Then Canada among those agreeing to get to the 2% threshold. And we just agreed to actually get to it this year. And we actually haven't even done the actual spending to get to 2% GDP. So even if it's 3.5% or 5% overall GDP in defense spending, regardless, it took us 10 years to get to this point. So we'll have to wait and see what it looks like in 2035. Back to you.
We appreciate that report. Thank you.